Hey guys, it's Damien from Marketing Food Online. So today's podcast is going to cover the most popular beverages on Amazon that you can actually make yourself through private labeling. Let's get started. All right, guys. So today's podcast, I want to cover a really interesting topic about private labeling, something that doesn't get a lot of airtime. And this is a category within Amazon that doesn't have a lot of private label sellers, which is kind of quite interesting because beverages on Amazon is one of the top 5 food categories. Within the food category itself, top 5 items to sell. And believe it or not, you can literally get a private label for almost any type of beverage on the market. And you can compete with that market share through Amazon.com. And even, as a matter of fact, a lot of these products lend themselves perfectly to taking advantage of FBA. And, of course, if you don't know what FBA is, that's Fulfillment by Amazon. It's basically where you send the product in, and Amazon takes care of everything else as far as pulling, packing, shipping, and customer service. So I myself, I've been in the private label space on Amazon with the food category for about 3 years now, and we are ever increasing our presence on Amazon with our private label that we produce ourselves. So I wanted to bring a podcast and bring some understanding to the idea that the market for drinks online is gigantic. You have to understand the philosophy and the mentality behind this because everywhere, every state doesn't really have the same opportunity as far as selections go. When it comes to drinks and beverages, many states don't have certain types of water that somebody may want, or there may be a Kcup, a coffee of some kind. There may be like an organic protein shake. That's not accessible everywhere, and that's one of the advantages about being online, and of course, being on Amazon is the idea that you can offer a product to literally the entire planet, but of course everywhere in the U.S., and it's great because it allows you to sell a product to someone who may not have it near them. Okay, so you might be wondering, so what are those top-selling beverages? So the number one is actually the original Donut Shop Keurig Kcup, okay? And then the second, I'm going to give you just the top 3. I'm not going to go through the entire list of 20-plus items here, but I'm going to give you some examples so you can understand that the potential for private labeling of beverages is a really, really good one. Now, the second one is actually an organic plant-based protein powder. And then the third one is an ionized, alkaline water, okay? And it's a 12-pack. So I'm going to take these 3, and I'm going to give you examples of what you could do potentially with that. So Donut Shop, coffee in general, of course, is a gigantic market. Everybody knows that, okay? But when it comes to the Donut Shop and Kcups, there are a lot of variations, of course, on the Kcup that sell very well. Now, there are companies that can actually produce a private label Kcup similar to that actual cup itself. Of course, Kcup is a trademarked name, but trademark brand. But you can actually get your own version of Kcups produced for you, believe it or not. And many of these companies that do this can do it on a very small scale. You don't have to have gigantic minimums. There's a lot of private label companies that have popped up over the past few years in the food category who realize this and understand that smaller minimums are actually opening up bigger opportunities because there's a lot of companies who can utilize that because they're just starting. So when it comes to being competitive with that, you can put your private label product up that is similar to a Kcup Donut Shop version and get some additional part of that market share. One thing a lot of people don't realize is this. Some of the top selling products within any category online, it's not even on Amazon, it could be on eBay, it could be anywhere. Many of these products are top sellers. Yes, they have a specific brand name, and some people enjoy that specific brand. Now, when it comes time to buying it, in a lot of instances, sellers that offer these products are going to have only so much in inventory. What I'm about to tell you is one aspect that a lot of people don't realize. When you're trying to compete with a product like, let's say, Kcups, the Donut Shop flavored regular coffee Kcup, okay? You have a product that's very comparable to it. It's similar to it. You have your own brand, your own name on it. When that product runs out of inventory, okay, and it's not being replenished on a regular basis, and believe it or not, this happens quite often. A lot of these brands that are trusted and that are sell through very quickly, and many times the sellers don't replenish in time. When you have your own brand up there and you have an opportunity to capture that sale because someone definitely is going to need coffee, it's not something that, you know what, I can hold off for 2 weeks until they get replenished and then I'll drink coffee then. That's not how that works. So when you've got a comparable product similar to it and it's a private label product, you're going to make sales. And you also have an opportunity to offer your product maybe at a slightly smaller price point underneath the brand name and allow yourself to capture that sale as well. There's a lot of parameters and a lot of aspects to the the buying decisions that consumers make online. Of course, it could be a brand they trust. It could be a flavor that they like. It could be a price point. But many of those things aren't as important in some instances as the price point. So if you offer a comparable product that's similar to what sells like crazy, and you're just slightly under that value, that price point that it's being offered at for the name brand, you're going to capture that sale. And I've noticed that the reason why I say this is I noticed this from my own experience. Now, does that happen? Does that make the decision making on behalf of the consumer all the time? No, not necessarily. But the point is that when you begin to create a private label product, nobody knows you from Adam. Okay, nobody knows your product. Okay, nobody knows your brand name. Nobody knows any of that stuff. But that's fine. That does give you an advantage because as you begin to build a brand, people begin to try new things. Plus, if a supplier runs out of a certain brand and somebody needs that type of a product, they're going to buy yours. That's just how I've seen it work for myself. And I've even seen sellers, I've contacted sellers over the past few years. I've asked them how they do it, how does it work? And they've come up with the same type of scenario. So it's not necessarily always, you know what, the brand name is so strong and so big, and so I'm never going to get a foot in this market. That's baloney, especially when you're online. When you're in retail stores, the difference is that you rely on the foot traffic to come and find your product. So if you are, let's say, in the middle of a very small town, you have a big store, let's just, as an example, use Walmart. And there's a certain product that's there, and it's on the store shelves. They're only relying upon the foot traffic there. When you're online, there is no foot traffic. It is a gigantic market. It is a challenge to be found, but there's certain ways that you can take care of that as far as SEO and optimizing listings, social media. There's other ways to drive traffic, so it's not like it can't be done. But being online is that you have millions of eyeballs that are looking at your product with the potential to sell. When you're within a brick and mortar retail, you've got maybe a couple 100,000 within the immediate area or a few thousand people. That's it. So it physically sits there on the shelf and it waits for someone to buy it. So back to what I was getting to before. So Kcups, when it comes to the coffee, the K-Cup styled brewing, that is a gigantic market, and there are Copackers who can make that for you. Now, I'm going to offer down below, if you're listening to this on YouTube, in the description, I'll put a list. I've actually come up with a huge list of Copackers for a variety of categories. And the top 20 questions that I actually personally would recommend you ask your Copacker. I put this resource together. You can check out the link down below and take a look at it and see if it's something that's right for you. But 20 questions that you should ask your Copacker to see if it's the right fit for you and the right fit for your product. It's a really, really great resource. But getting back to the private labeling of these three particular items. So the next one's going to be plant-based protein. These powders have been hugely popular, and the second best-selling is a chocolate fudged flavor plant-based protein powder. Now, where can I get that private label, Damien, you might be asking? Well, they do have companies that private label. Supplement companies, co-packing and private label supplement companies offer this exact same type of product. Even non-GMO, gluten-free, organic, all of those criteria, they can produce the same product with your name on it. Again, back to the same question is, okay, well, if this is the number 2 selling one and it's a specific brand, what makes you think that mine's going to sell? Same scenario as the coffee. If it runs out of inventory or if it doesn't have as many sellers as it should and it's so popular, you can create one like your own, get in on that specific category, that specific niche, and sell your own brand. You got to also keep in mind that these types of products are being reused over and over and over. And the reason why I say that is that when somebody runs out of a certain protein powder and they like it, they like that flavor, if they're out of the one that they don't have that particular brand, they're going to go to this second best thing. And if it's available in a different brand name, they're going to try it. And if it's new, they're going to try it, okay? A lot of times people will try things, but there could be 1 million people that'll buy your product right now because they simply want to try it. If it's good enough, the quality is comparable, and the price point is similar, then you've got a customer who will come back. But keep in mind, there's a lot of products on the market where people simply quote-unquote try them. But you're talking about millions and millions of people who could potentially be trying your product. And that is a lot of revenue when it comes to about $20 a pop. So the next one in line, the third top seller right now that's on the beverage category at Amazon is a ionized alkaline bottled water. Okay? And this brand, actually, I'm looking at the information right now. This specific brand, I've actually never heard of. And to find companies that could do this, yes, did you know there are companies that private label bottled water? And they also offer it in a variety of different types of packaging, as far as ingredients, the quality, being ionized, being alkaline, et cetera, et cetera. There are companies that can do that. And all three of these, again, meet that same criteria that if it's a new product, people will try it. If it's out of stock and somebody desperately wants it and needs it, they'll pay a premium. So all of these factors come into play with doing private label food products, and gives you an opportunity to get your foot in the door, in a sense, to get your product out on the market. Now, going down through the rest of the list, believe it or not, actually the bulk of the beverages are coffee related, by the way. There's some that are even sparkling juice waters, which is they have the four flavored pack of sparkling juice water. And there are companies, by the way, that do canning, private canning as well. Juices, sodas, all kinds of carbonated beverages. And that is, again, another category, another product within the sparkling juice category that you can get your foot in the door with a private label as well. So you might be thinking, well, you know what? It sounds great and all, Damien. Getting the private label sounds exciting, but I don't have a lot of money to invest in it. Well, that's actually not a bad thing. Because, like I said in the opening of the podcast, there's a lot of companies that are now reducing their minimums, bringing down the minimums for smaller startups. So if you want to get in on some of this business online, which continues to grow, by the way, I read a Forbes article that said the online food industry as a whole by 2025 will be in excess of $100 billion. Now, you might be thinking, that's huge. Trust me, there is room for plenty of other people to come into this category of food online. And if that's what you're looking to do, you are definitely in a great time to do it, because probably over the last 5 to 7 years, very, very small amount of time, 5 to 7 years, if you look back about 7, 8 years ago, selling food online was not something people did. They just went to the grocery store and picked up their products. Of course, with Amazon and a few other eBay and other outlets and platforms that allow you to sell food online, that share has grown. As more and more people do more e-commerce and more shopping online, groceries are something that if you can click a button, pay for it, and have it delivered to your door, it's saving families and saving people time from having to go anywhere. They could go to work one day, and 2 days later they come home from work, and they've got a box in front of their door, and their groceries are delivered. So this market is just in its infancy, and getting yourself into it is a huge opportunity that's going to grow and grow. It's not going to shrink. It's not going away anytime soon. So in the beverage market, again, this podcast was dedicated specifically to beverages and drinks. And I'm going to tell you, this is just Amazon. You could, of course, create your own websites. You could sell them on eBay. You could sell it on Bonanza. There's a lot of platforms you can get on. So having a private label food product is not as expensive as you may think to get started. Plus, the category just continues to grow as far as sales and dollar amounts. You need to definitely be in on it. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap this up, and I hope that was informative and maybe open up your eyes to a new, different type of product if you're kind of still on the fence about what you should be selling online in regards to food, and you were looking to start a food business, but you're just not sure. Beverages, I'm telling you, goodness gracious, it's huge. It's gigantic. Take some time and investigate it. Look into it. And again, I have a handful of co-packing lists on my website that I put together, curated a whole bunch of co-packers for specific categories, and then the top 20 questions. It's a great resource. Definitely, it's a downloadable. You can download that file. Take a look at it, and I'll see you guys on either my next YouTube video or on my next podcast. Take care.